Hi everybody, how are you? It's Miss Britt from the Ridgewood Public Library, and I am here to do some singing and read some stories with you. Going to have some books about books and reading and how much we love books and reading. So how about we start with our hello song? Can you clap with me? We'll say hello to the boys and the girls and the grown-ups. Ready? Hello, everybody. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Hello, everybody. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed, my darling. Hello to the boys. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Hello to the boys. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed, my darling. Hello to the girls, yes indeed, yes indeed, yes indeed. Hello to the girls, yes indeed, yes indeed, my darling. Hello to the grown-ups, yes indeed, yes indeed, yes indeed. Hello to the grown-ups, yes indeed, yes indeed, my darling. Great job, everybody. Way to go. Okay, my first book is called Miss Smith's Incredible Storybook. And this is by Michael Garland. All right, let's see. This book is kind of hard to hold, so I might need two hands. It was the first day of school. Zach was waiting for his teacher to arrive. Boring, boring, he thought. Why would this year be any different from the last one? Then the door swung open. Good morning, class. My name is Miss Smith, and I am your new teacher. Miss Smith seemed very different from Zach's other teachers. But the day went along like every school day Zach could remember until Miss Smith said, "It's story time." When she sat at her desk and started to read from the book she'd brought with her, Zach couldn't believe his eyes. The storybook characters came to life, and the classroom was swept up in a swashbuckling pirate tale. Zach and the rest of his class were right in the middle of the story. He could feel the breeze in his hair and hear the waves pounding on the side of the ship. From then on, Zach couldn't wait to go to school. Every day there was a new story to look forward to. When Miss Smith finished reading, all the characters and adventure whooshed back into her book. Looks like this time she's maybe reading Little Red Riding Hood and the Big Bad Wolf. On Friday, Principal Rittenrotten stood in front of the class instead of Miss Smith. Miss Smith is stuck in traffic, so she's asked me to read to you until she arrives, he announced. Zach wondered what would happen next. Principal Rittenrotten started to read. Zach grinned when a princess leaped out of the book, followed closely by a fire-breathing dragon and a brave knight on his horse. Can you see this? Sorry, I have a hard time holding this. Principal Rittenrotten was so surprised that all he could do was scream and throw the book up in fright. "I'm going for help," he called over his shoulder as he ran out the door. Before Zach could think of anything to do, Sue Ann pounced on the storybook. But she didn't finish the dragon story. She started reading another one instead. The princess, the dragon, and the knight did not return to the book, but the three bears and Goldilocks climbed out. Uh-oh. Freddie, the class clown, jumped out of his seat and tried to yank the book away. When Sue Ann let go, he tumbled backward and the book flew across the room. The whole class laughed. Billy caught the book and started reading from a new story. Zack shook his head in amazement when the Mad Hatter, the Cheshire Cat, and Alice popped up to join the others. Maybe that'll help you see it better. Can you see? As the book passed from kid to kid, one character after another flew out of the pages. The classroom was getting very crowded. This is terrible, Zack said to himself. The class was beginning to spill out into the halls. Why don't you finish the stories? Zack pleaded, but no one was listening. Look at all those storybook characters. Miss Smith brought her car to a screeching stop in front of her school. Uh-oh, there seems to be a little problem, she said to herself as she raced inside. Look at the school. There's people everywhere hanging out the windows, going down the sidewalk, up on the roof. Meanwhile, Zack was shouting, "We have to finish the stories so the characters will go back into the book." But the storybook characters didn't want to go back into the book. A tug of war began. Miss Smith appeared in the doorway. With one look, she let everyone know she meant business. Even the dragon was suddenly silent. Zack handed the book back to Miss Smith. She ruffled through the pages, adjusted her glasses, and started to read. The class sat spellbound as she finished each story in turn. With a whirl and a whoosh, one character after another disappeared into the book until the classroom was quiet and tidy again. Principal Rittenrotten and a team of firefighters skidded to a halt at the door just as Miss Smith closed the book. "May I help you, Principal Rittenrotten?" asked Miss Smith, but the principal couldn't seem to answer. He just stared at the quiet class with his mouth wide open. Miss Smith flashed a secret smile at her class. Zack smiled right back. Who would ever have guessed that reading could be so much fun? And there's Miss Smith. Let's see, can you see? There's Miss Smith with her storybook. Sounds very fun, doesn't it? Okay, how about we do If You're Happy and You Know It? Ready for that one? If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, then your face will surely show it. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, stomp your feet. If you're happy and you know it, stomp your feet. If you're happy and you know it, then your face will surely show it. If you're happy and you know it, stomp your feet. If you're happy and you know it, peekaboo, peekaboo. If you're happy and you know it, peekaboo, peekaboo. If you're happy and you know it, then your face will surely show it. If you're happy and you know it, peekaboo, peekaboo. If you're happy and you know it, shout hooray, hooray. If you're happy and you know it, shout hooray, hooray. If you're happy and you know it, then your face will surely show it. If you're happy and you know it, shout hooray, hooray. Good job. Okay. My next book is called Wild About Books. This is by Judy Sierra, and the pictures are by Mark Brown. Wild About Books. It started the summer of 2002 when the Springfield librarian, Molly McGrew, by mistake drove her bookmobile into the zoo. Molly opened the door and she let down the stair, turned on the computer, and sat in her chair. At first, all the animals watched from a distance, but Molly could conquer the strongest resistance. By reading aloud from The Good Dr. Seuss, she quickly attracted a mink, and a moose, a wombat, an oryx, a lemur, a lynx, 8 elephant calves, and a family of skinks. They're all coming to listen. In a flash, every beast in the zoo was stampeding to learn all about this new something called reading. Forsaking their niches, their nests, and their nooks, they went wild, simply wild about wonderful books, choosing thin books and fat books and Cat in the Hat books and new books and true books and heaps of how-to books. They're all picking books from the bookmobile. Giraffes wanted tall books and crickets craved small books, while geckos could only read stick-to-the-wall books. The pandas demanded books in Chinese. Molly filled their requests, always eager to please. She even found waterproof books for the otter, who never went swimming without Harry Potter. Raccoons read alone, and baboons read in bunches, and llamas read dramas while eating their lunches. Hyenas shared jokes with the red-bellied snakes, and they howled and they hissed till their funny bones ached. A tree kangaroo, who adored Nancy Drew, began solving mysteries right there at the zoo, such as, why were the Bandicoot's books overdue? Gently, Molly taught lessons in treating books right, for the boa constrictor squeezed Crictor too tight. Baby bunnies mucked up Goodnight Moon with their paws. Giant termites devoured the Wizard of Oz. And Bear's love of books was completely outrageous. They licked all the pictures right off of the pages. Tasmanian devils found books so exciting that soon they'd given up fighting for writing. They made up adventures so thrilling and new that the others decided to be authors too. Pythons wrote with their tails, penguins wrote with their bills, and porcupines wrote with their very own quills. At the new insect zoo, bugs were scribbling haiku. The scorpion gave each a stinging review. As the cheetah's new novel began to take shape, he read chapters each night to the Barbary ape, and although the gazelle couldn't spell very well, like everyone else, she had stories to tell. Imagine the hippo's enormous surprise when her memoir was given the Zulitzer Prize. With so many new books, Molly knew what to do. She hired 12 beavers, a stork, and a gnu to build a branch library there at the zoo. Then the animals cried, "We can do it ourselves. We can check out the books. We can put them on shelves." And they did, and they do, up to this very day. 3 cheers for the Zoobrary. Hip, hip, hooray! When you visit the zoo now, you surely won't mind if the animals seem just a bit hard to find. They're snug in their niches, their nests, and their nooks, going wild, simply wild about wonderful books. The end. Good listening, everybody. Great job. That would be funny to go to the zoo and see all those animals reading books, wouldn't it? Thank you so much for joining me for story time today. I hope you had fun. We miss you, and we hope to see you back in the library soon. Bye.